of all, first question for you, how does it feel, you're about to be sworn in to, be part of the CCSD Board of Trustees?
It's very exciting. I'm very excited. I know that this is going to be a very big learning curve for me, but I'm excited for the challenge. And I've met all of the current board members and the incoming board members. So I'm excited to work with them. I think most of them are going to do phenomenal jobs in lots of different things. I think all of them will, and I think that we'll all be able to actually get along, and maybe that'll helpfully, kind of calm down some of the chaos sometimes. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. How do you feel, your background, how do you feel your background will prepare you as a CCSD trustee? You are someone who has served in the military. You're also someone who describes himself as a conservative. How do you think that's gonna, prepare you for the duties of becoming a trustee?
So we talk about conservatives are pretty data driven, and so I think that even in the military, I was very data driven as well. And so I think that having that kind of common sense, like, what are the numbers showing me? What do these prices look like? Where are stats? Where are students at? I think that'll help out a lot because I'm not really tying into the emotional factor. It's not that I don't care, that I don't have empathy for students and teachers and administrators. It's just the overall goal is to make the district better. And sometimes you have to have data in order to do that. So I think that I can come at this with a very logical standpoint, a very common sense standpoint to it.
Of course. What's your, once you're seated and everything, what's in general, what's your outlook for the rest of the year?
So I actually reduced like my regular daytime hours to really just dive into the school board. I want to know every single law and every single policy. And I really want to focus really this first year, kind of get my feet wet, figure out where my role is as a trustee within the community and within the district. I think that's the biggest thing that I want to do this year.
Absolutely. And, once you are seated on the dice, what are two things you would like to accomplish, while you are serving on the board?
Man, that is a huge question because there's so many different aspects. I think that one of the things is I have always been looking at school autonomy. I think principals deserve that if they're doing their jobs well. And then another thing is that I want parents to be more involved in their kids' education. And I think this year, 2020, or I guess last year, has taught us more about education and parental involvement than any other year in education could have. So I'm very excited to have the parents kind of work with me, call me, talk to me, and see if there aren't, big solutions that we can form.
Absolutely. When it comes, obviously, one of the things that you are going to be tackling, obviously, is the discussion, because you are coming at a time, a challenging time for education. No matter where you sit politically, it is. I think everyone can agree it's been a challenging time for education. Where do you think you could take at least as far as your direction during this challenging time in terms of working with everyone on the board and trying to move forward regarding the discussions over continuing distance learning or trying to get kids back into the buildings for school.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people are in this doom and gloom kind of mindset around education right now, and really just about anything, jobs and the economy and everything else. But I don't see it like that. I see that this is a really good opportunity for us to really, take away a lot of little lessons from this. The biggest one being that I don't think that education has to be as long or drawn out for some students as it is. I think there are a lot of students who are excelling. Um, with online education, and that we should be able to help them streamline that education, get them into college sooner, get them into trade school sooner, get them back and get them into the workforce sooner. And so then we can actually take that time from them and to the actual students that really really need that one-on-one time. I think our math pass rate is 33% in our students, and that's terrible. So I mean, if we have those 33% of the students that can actually pass the math, get them out of there, so we can focus on these other, 67% or so. So that's what I would like.
Of course, of course. Obviously, you are one of three brand new trustees. Obviously, once you're sworn in, three trustees that are going to be serving on the school board, along with Lisa Guzman and Evelyn Morales. Are you looking forward to we're obviously working with them and working with the other board members who obviously have done this before?
Yeah, I am so excited to work with them. I spoke to Evelyn in deep conversation. She's a very well-rounded, well emotionally balanced person, and I really enjoy speaking with her. And Lisa and I probably could not be any more opposite of people. And but we find that common ground that where we just care about the kids and we just want to make the whole board better. We want to make the district better, and I think that's where we really find our common ground. But I'm excited to work with them. They have so much experience to offer, and I've spoken to them on a lot about experience. The fact that this is my big first deep dive into education, whereas they've been in it for decades, and I think it's a very important dynamic that we're about to form.
Absolutely, absolutely. And last few questions, obviously, one of the big things, you will be tackling, coming up pretty soon, obviously, is the continued discussion over, reopening the school buildings, getting students back in there. How important it is, do you think to continue to have this discussion about, some sort of concrete plan as far as getting kids back inside the buildings for school?
Yeah, I think until there is the transitional plan back into schools, that we should have this conversation at every single work session and public meeting. I think that it is very imperative to maintain that focus on getting the kids back in school, because before we know it, this school year will be over, and then we'll be looking at starting the next school year in the fall. And if we don't have a plan, if we're not working on it now, it's these kids are possibly losing a whole nother year of their lives, and we just can't have that. It's not fair to them.
Course. And lastly, is there anything else you want to add on top of everything else you said, regarding, becoming a trustee and, what you're looking forward to, when you're on the dice?
Yeah. I'm very, very excited. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are very worried about me being on the board. I can assure you that I am very calm. I'm a very level headed person. And I really do enjoy what I do. And I am just very excited to help kids of Las Vegas, because I think that parents are struggling and kids are struggling. And as a parent, that's exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure that their voices were heard, and it wasn't necessarily just educators and administrators just making all these decisions for them. They need a voice from a parent, someone who doesn't have a background in education, that absolutely just is doing this and doing it for free, I may add, because I am donating my paycheck, because I care, not because I want a title or anything else like that. I really do care, and I think it's important.
All right.